Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another Closing Staff podcast. I'm here with my man Tradehold, and I know it's been a little while since we've had an episode, but I want to pass it over to my man. How you been?
I've been pretty good. It's funny that you say that because we have a few recordings that haven't been uploaded yet, and by the time we upload this one, it might be like right immediately after the other ones.
Yeah, right.
So people will just be like, "Wait, what do you mean?" It's like, "Oh yeah, well, we had two episodes just haven't been uploaded."
No, of course, yeah. It's kind of like those save files in your game, like
Yeah,
they're still there. You go back because you have some really good stuff still in those files, but there's times where you just kind of have to, just kind of roll with everything.
I mean, if it's an RPG though, you'll forget exactly where you're at and just start over.
That's very true. It's like me with some games. After it's been like 2 months, I'm just kind of so lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that being said, man, we have a lot to talk about. There's been a lot of just gaming news in general. I know some GameStop stuff here and there,
Yeah.
sprinkled in because I know for everyone out there in the field, for everybody still taking punches, for everybody still behind the register, we're here for you. We support you, and don't worry, we feel your pain, and stick through it.
For
But
sure.
yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming out.
Yeah.
I know Pokemon's just came out.
Pokemon just came out. Did you get one yet, or
I did not.
you didn't get one? Which one are you getting first, or if you're getting both?
I want the one with Palkia, which I think is Pearl.
Pearl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Nice.
yeah, because I never played Diamond or Pearl, and I never played Black or White.
It's
That was
still
the
it's
gen I didn't get to.
it's funny because a lot of the people I talk to, like in our age range, like Diamond and Pearl is the one that Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum are the ones that people didn't get. Like almost all my friends that I talk to, yeah, I'm gonna get Diamond or Pearl because that's the one I missed, and I'm just like, Platinum was like the last one I really played.
Yeah, I was gonna say Platinum's the one that had was it Dialga on the front? Or it's not
No,
Dialga.
no,
or is it,
Giratina.
Giratina. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
And I was just like, oh, I stopped later than you guys, but you guys restart later, and I stopped. Like, I just stopped. All
Yeah.
right, who's gonna be your starter?
So who's gonna be my starter? I think it's got to be Piplup.
Piplup,
Probably no, or actually no. I think it'll be Chimchar.
Chimchar,
It'll be Chimchar.
for sure.
For me, it's got to be Chimchar.
It's Turtwig for me, man.
It's all Turtwig.
Turtwig. I'm a turtle guy for the most part.
Torterra.
Yeah, exactly. Chimchar would be my second choice. I like Piplup, like, but the thing is, I also look at the evolutionaries, like the end evolutionary,
Yeah.
and Infernape based on Sun Wukong, you know.
Okay.
So it's
Oh, there
like
we go.
it's hard to pass that up. I know it was Empoleon. Empoleon.
Yeah, Empoleon.
Yeah, Empoleon looks badass. but-
Badass, weird typing, water steel. It's kind
Yeah,
of like,
yeah.
yeah.
Like, but then it's just like over Sun Wukong.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it's kind of interesting because everyone's been super hyped about Diamond and Pearl remakes, and everyone's just like, let's go. But then I was kind of like, eh. I feel like they're just edging us on until Arceus comes out,
Yeah,
because that's the one I know they're really working on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. This remake is looking pretty good from what I've seen people play of it. Yeah, because people have already started playing it.
Yeah, what's rough is Heart Gold and Soul Silver set such a high bar as far as remakes go. 'Cause
Yeah.
that remake was just, I love that remake.
Yeah.
They just incorporated all the new features and all that stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like I might pick up Pearl because I haven't played a Pokemon legit in a while.
I do feel like you're right in the sense that the hype is. I think the hype is there. It's definitely there from Pokemon fans, but I do think they're kind of just slowly, like, it's their excuse to make money and slowly like upres all the Pokemon type of deal to get it up to Switch, because it's like, oh, we can't do all, was it 900 800 something Pokemon, sorry, and and then upgrade them all to one game, so let's just do remakes and
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's
and
like, let's
upres like 150 at a time.
yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. Let's just get the remakes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, even with Pokemon, I know talking to some people, it's like, "Oh, you got new Pokemon," and it's kind of rough because my hype for Pokemon has kind of been low. But they just did the 25th anniversary as well.
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't realize is they're kind of really coming out with a lot of collectibles as they usually do. Like the hype for Pokemon's still there, so I'm like, you know what? Like,
Did
there's
you
still
see that life-size Lucario plushie that they have on Pokemon Center?
I did not.
Oh yeah. Did you see the Arcanine one?
I didn't see the
Oh
Arcanine
wow. Well, you
So,
wouldn't get them
yeah,
because they're like
bes-
$450.
one. Besides the point, I have the Snorlax beanbag. The
Oh,
big
yeah.
one. Yeah.
One of my buddies has that one too.
Yeah, I have the Snorlax, but like a full size Arcanine, that's besides the point. That's like a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
money. That's like, you have to be like a huge Pokemon fan because again, it's $450.
So fun story for my Snorlax plushie beanbag was someone ordered it to my GameStop, to my store, and they were basically just they thought it was just like a big plushie, but
Oh
they
yeah,
didn't know it was
it's like a giant one.
they didn't know it was the beanbag. They
Yeah.
thought it was just like a big Snorlax,
Yeah.
kind of like the just like a basic plushie.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, no, it's like it's the beanbag. When they came in to pick it up, I'm like, oh, thank God, because my back room is so small, and that thing is fucking huge, and there's nowhere to store it. And I'm like, I don't even think I have anywhere on the floor to put this. Like literally, I'd have to dedicate like a whole gondola,
Yeah.
like a whole side of a gondola, or like even just stick it in the collectible corner in the Pokemon section. So I was just like, oh man. And then they saw it and they're like, we're not gonna buy this. Like it's way too big. And at that point, it came in the distro and everything. Like, what am I gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
just kind of take it away, But
I know it actually went on clearance too, didn't it?
yeah, no,
'Cause
we're not
that's,
clearance,
that's when my buddy got it for his girlfriend.
Mhm.
Yeah, because Snorlax people.
but yeah, right. You see, in my case, I was sitting there and I did that thing where I looked at it and I'm like, you know what? I get the employee discount. I could use a beanbag. It's Snorlax. Like, I was like, fuck it, you're mine. Like, I'm taking it.
I would say back to Diamond and Pearl. That's where Darkrai came from, and most people most people that know me know that Darkrai and Mewtwo are my top 2 favorite Pokemon. So
Oh, nice. There we go.
yeah, so I'm like, oh, I gotta get that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
I probably won't play till next year, but I'm gonna get it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, a lot of good stuff coming out. Like Pokemon, besides, it's like Pokemon season. Like right now, it's Call of Duty, Pokemon. Like what else usually comes out around this time? They haven't announced a new Assassin's Creed, surprisingly, because Valhalla, I hear, is just so big.
Yeah,
You know,
I was gonna say, speaking of Pokemon with Legends coming out, Arceus. Have you looked into it at all?
Yeah, no, I've been looking into it.
Okay.
It looks really cool.
It does look pretty cool. I actually had a theory about that. I haven't really had a chance to talk about it.
Oh, no, it's
Yeah,
good. Let's
because,
get into it, man.
Well,
Like,
you, the whole thing with that is it starts with the Sinnoh region, right? It's like the origins of the whole Pokemon in the Sinnoh region. And then what's the main antagonist in Diamond Pearl?
Diamond and Pearl?
Was it Team Galaxy?
This is Team Galaxy, yeah.
But like in Legends, you're part of the galactic, like you're part of like the galactic team, I guess expedition
Okay.
of like finding the Pokemon. It's like,
So
I
you
wonder if
think
there's like a correlation between galactic.
it kind
and
of
Team
like
Galaxy.
flipped, or
Yeah.
they were there for good,
Yeah, yeah.
and they
that's
met Arceus, and then now their plans are getting like huge, or like
something like that. Like, I'm not gonna say that maybe they met Arceus and that's what happened or anything. It could have just been like some kind of quote unquote evolution that happened between the Galactic Expedition and Team Galaxy. Like Team Galaxy spawned from there in
Yeah.
some way, or like
or like there's that one employee that just had a really bad day. And he was just like, damn, like, F this, I'm getting out of here, I'm going on lunch, it just never came
My
back.
village got flooded. I blame Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to space.
I'm gonna take that power from myself, flood other villages.
Exactly. I'm taking the fight to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not too sure if you're fully aware. Is Arceus supposed to be the first Pokemon, right? Like in the lore?
I think so.
Like I think he's supposed
like
to be
the
like
creator
the
Pokemon.
original,
Yeah.
the OG.
Yeah, I think so. I honestly, you would know better than I would.
Yeah, because
When it comes to Pokemon, I think you're a bigger fan than me.
I love
It's-
Pokemon.
Yeah, like Pearl, like I said, Pearl Diamonds when I stopped.
Yeah, I stopped as well. I didn't have the DS at that time, like the OG DS
Oh, okay.
or the DS Lite. Like
Oh,
I
okay,
jumped back
okay.
on the 3DS.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but I just really did not follow as much as the lore afterwards, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. I know about Arceus, but I think they called him like the creator Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Where he just created the world or
Yeah, so I guess like Legend of Arceus is supposed to be kind of like not a prequel, but just kind of like like taking
The
it way
beginning point,
taking
yeah.
it way back to the beginning.
yeah.
What I like is they're taking those elements from like Let's Go Eevee, like Let's Go Pikachu, where it's not so much Pokemon Go, but you're still like sneaking up on Pokemon and you're
Yeah.
still like throwing. You can throw bait and like you can throw
Yeah,
treats
yeah.
and stuff. And there's also situations where like they're finally bringing in that kind of like a new battle system.
Yeah.
Where you can actually like swap out your Pokemon really fluently, and then be able to
like
have
the-
different situations,
I very much like the on-field battle.
Yeah, and
I
then like
always
the
like
on-field
those.
battle, yeah.
Like that, to me, that felt like that's what it should be with Pokemon, just because of the whole, Pokemon always roaming around type of deal.
Yeah,
So, I'm still waiting on that. Like, there's no incentive for me to like pre-order that one, unless they do the same US pre-order bonus that they did for the UK. I don't know. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the one where
I'm
it comes
not,
with like
no.
a little mini wooden Pokeball thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Exclusively in the UK right now, I think. Yeah.
Boo. No, I'm just kidding. Any of our UK followers, we appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but you do get some cool stuff sometimes.
Speaking of 25th anniversary, uh, 25th anniversary, I think for the Persona series right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
there's a sale on Atlas stuff. I was thinking about looking at it, but at the same time, it's coinciding with like Black Friday and stuff, and it's just like
You're like,
ah.
yeah, Alice usually has some pretty good stuff on their site too.
Yeah, yeah. I do want some of that like gear, especially anything. I noticed obviously I don't really have any yellow shirts. And I was looking around like this was months ago. I was looking around, I was like, man, I want like a Persona 4, like a yellow shirt, but I didn't see any design that was really anything that was like um uh what what's the word for it? Like representative of Persona 4. Like there are some, but like it's a lot more plain than
What,
I
you want
would
like
think.
the cover of Golden or something?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know? Like with
exactly.
like a gold T-shirt or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a yellow,
exactly.
you know? Yeah.
With, like stars and stuff, maybe like on the side. Like I didn't see any of that, and I was really surprised. I figured they would have something like that, so I'm gonna. That's what maybe I'm hoping for to look when I check the shop.
Oh, there we
I
go.
haven't actually checked yet because money.
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly. Because money. Yeah, same thing. I was talking to my coworker because he's a big Pokemon card collector, and this is like into the shops too. Like I hear Pokemon cards are sold out everywhere for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, like
Oh.
they're hard to find.
Like that's like it's scalping material at the moment.
Yeah.
With Pokemon cards.
And like I was telling my coworker, I'm like the main reason why I haven't looked at the new set, or like haven't looked at the celebration set or anything like that. I'm like because for me it's like I relapse really bad. Almost like it's like a hard drug, you know?
Wow.
Where I'm sitting there and it's like, you know what? I don't just stop at 1 pack or 2 packs or 3 packs. Like, no, I'll buy the whole like
Damn.
freaking elite trainer box, and then I'll get the collector's box, and then I'll get like boosters just up the yin yang. And if I can't find them in store, I'll do that thing where I go to sites and I'll buy them in bulk, you know? And then like there's just no end to it, you
Damn.
know? Like yeah, and I go hard on the paint. And especially once I hit the cards up and I realize there's plushies, like it's a done deal. You know, once there's plushies out in the market, or they do that same thing where they had like remember the 3 card booster pack, and then you
Yeah.
had the pin,
Yeah.
you know, and stuff like that. Like I'd buy every one of those too. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I told my coworkers like, you don't understand. I go hard on the paint for the 20th anniversary. Like I have so much 20th anniversary shit. Like oh man, yeah. So I was like, 25th I can skip. I'm going to save it for the 30th for the same reason too, is I'm broke.
Yeah.
If I had the spending money, I was like, damn.
You go straight
then-
to your credit card debt.
And then I looked at the news, like I made the mistake of looking at the new set because you know how they list out all the cards, that you can get, and I was just like, oh man, these are fucking sweet. Like, they did the original 150 set,
Uh-huh.
but they did a little bit of change to them,
Yeah.
where it's like they're not fully hollow, but they kind of made it almost textured,
Oh.
to where it's like a textured hollow.
See, now I'm gonna look up Mewtwo and Darkrai now.
Yeah, right.
That's like Pokemon cards. Like I stopped with the Pokemon card collecting like ages ago, back when I was still in high school. I think. Actually, that was when I maybe started a little bit of it, but I stopped like shortly after. And now it's just like anytime I look for Pokemon cards, it's just Mewtwo and Darkrai.
Yeah, just
I don't
Mewtwo and
care.
Darkrai.
I don't care
Nice.
about anybody else. Maybe Giratina, alternate form, but other than that, meh.
The alternate forms where he has legs.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The one where he looks more like a dragon and less like a snake.
Yeah,
Or
he's not
less
like a
an
worm.
Asian dragon.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
No, yeah, that well goes deep. But yeah, no, that's besides the point.
Yeah.
For all the Pokemon fans out there. But I know, we can start getting into a little bit of the meat that we want to talk about today. I know there's some like new games coming out, but the one that's caught our attention has been Elden Ring
Yeah.
for sure. I know when we first got into the studio today, we were sitting down. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't too well versed in Elden
Yeah.
Ring, but we sat down and watched the gameplay, and I gotta say, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like
it, it's-
excuse my S bomb there, but like
I think you've cursed a few times already. So.
yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
Elden Ring,
For sure. I remember when it first was reviewed, we talked about it. I'm not sure whether it was like recording or not, but we talked about it, and I know that Cash Rap was more into it because George R. R. Martin.
Yeah, that's
I've
very
never
true.
watched Game of Thrones. I've never read any of them, so I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
And it was like all of my friends, my friends in actual, like my actual friends, and not like people online and stuff. All my friends were excited for Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And then once this gameplay dropped, none of my friends have actually watched it outside of like you just watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of my other friends who are into like the Soul series have only skimmed the gameplay trailer, and now have no like I'm super excited now, but none of my friends are.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, I have no one to talk to about this now.
No, man, don't worry, I got you. Now we can get into the real conversation right here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because yeah, to your point, we miss our boy Cash Rap.
yeah.
As you notice, he's not here in the studio with us. He's out there venturing the worlds.
Yeah.
He hasn't found a bonfire yet.
He's
you
exploring
know, like-
Elden Ring as we speak.
yeah, exactly. He's out there just doing his thing. But he'll be on the episodes in the future soon.
For sure.
We'll get him back. But
He's
that being
not kicked
said,
out or hasn't left or anything.
oh no,
He's
he's
not here today.
it's kind of like when you take someone out of your party, and just let them heal up a little
Yeah.
bit, or let them get their mana back.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I feel like he was really excited about it because I know he mentioned it before. But there we go. But then even seeing the gameplay, it's very because it's from software
Yeah.
obviously, but it looks like it's very heavily influenced by a bunch of different games that
Yeah.
like we mentioned before, like stuff like Skyrim.
Mhm.
I see a whole bunch of even little things from The Witcher. Kind of like that open world aspect of it. And even kind of just one of the comments we made as well, it seems like they've kind of learned from their mistakes.
Yeah.
They know
They pretty
exactly.
much taken all the best parts from all their previous games and just kind of implemented it into this one big giant game.
Yeah, it's and let's just get straight into it. Like the classes look dope.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
saying there's there's a mage knight, right?
There's an enchanted knight.
Or the
Yeah,
enchanted knight.
He's the only one that can use magic, or she, I guess. Yeah, he or she.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to make of him.
Yeah, warrior
But
class, you can dual wield, right?
dual,
You
yeah.
know, yeah.
World class, you can dual wield. I've only listened to a lot of people who've been in the network test. I didn't get in. I did try to sign up, but I didn't get in. And then I listened to other people play it. Because I'm working. But there's 5 classes. The warrior who can dual wield. There's a prophet.
The prophet. It's the bard. You just sing people to sleep.
Well, I think it's a faith base. Was that the faith base class? I
Okay,
don't
so more
remember.
of like a healer,
Sort
kind
of.
of thing, or kind
But,
of like you heal yourself a lot and use a lot of kind of like.
Yeah, but
enchantments.
that class can have one very OP move earlier than everybody else can. But I don't remember what it was called. Maybe it was like Beast Claw or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'd say I don't think every class can learn it. Some classes can learn it, but
Well, it's the
after
incentive, yeah.
you've finished the network test, whereas the prophet gets it early. I think it's the prophet. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, let's see. So we got the enchanted knight, the prophet, the warrior.
The warrior, and then the one.
I think it's the wolf.
I was gonna bring it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
the one where it's like you basically have that transformation that you can do, right?
I'm not sure if
Or do you
if
think
you
it's
probably can, but it's like the very Souls type.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
class.
it's yeah, and I know what you mean. It's kind
Yeah.
of like in Dark Souls where when you get that one ring from the dragon, you get a dragon head that breathes fire and shit.
Yeah.
Like it could be something like that where it allows you. So what we're talking about is there's a class like we were just talking about,
Yeah.
where it literally kind of allows you to either turn into a werewolf or have a spell that makes you look like a werewolf, and there's some kind of like blood like transfer back and forth. I would assume, right? Where like when you take down enemies, you maybe get a buff or you maybe
Yeah.
get like some kind of ability.
It's just it's a heavier class.
Yeah, and
this
it,
one.
and it looked like it
And-
was a little bit more kind of like aggro, where
Yeah.
you're just trying to just get in there.
Yeah. The only thing I heard about it is that it's terrible on the mount because there's a mount that can double jump.
Yeah, and then the freaking mounts, you know,
That was like the first thing I noticed. I was so surprising when I was watching or listening to people watch the or react to the trailer and like how long it took people to realize that the mount double jumps. It's like the first thing I noticed. I'm like, oh dude, no way.
Yeah, right. You're
It's
like,
so surprising that no game. I don't think there's any game that I can think of where the mount can double jump. And it's that's such a big thing to me. It's a small thing, but it's just like, dude, that's cool.
I was just gonna say that it's one of those little like just little serotonin boosts where you're just
Yeah.
like you double jump, you're like oh like, yeah, because like it gives you more freedom to explore and you don't feel as limited.
Yeah.
You feel like oh damn, even if I can't make it the first jump, like I still have a backup, you know?
Yeah.
And then what I really like is the kind of floatiness to the world, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Kind of what I mean by that is you can jump from certain distances and like it's a good distance where
Yeah.
it seems like it's very high up, but you won't take damage.
Yeah.
But like we said, it's still in development, so we can't say for sure exactly where the damage
Yeah.
applies or if there is a damage counter or like a damage like that you take when you fall.
So
But it's looking like for the most part, like the characters are very kind of you can jump from high distances. You have your mount that double jumps.
Yeah.
They want you to kind of explore by
Yeah, yeah.
like not climbing, but being able to reach certain
Yeah.
like, heights and stuff.
So, I mean, based on what I've seen or seen from the the actual gameplay trailer and listened to people who played the network test, it's like, so what I've inferred from them is like you take fall damage in like mini dungeons or caverns and stuff like that, but not in the world.
Mm-hmm.
However, in the gameplay trailer, I think we noted it when we were watching it. There's this part where there's like a huge verticality of the character needs to jump down, but
Mm-hmm.
like he doesn't jump down right like fully all the way down. He jumps on a few ledges beforehand, so that
Yeah.
kind of insinuates there is fall damage, but in the world, it's very like it's far.
There's a
It's
grace
decent.
period.
It's a
You
decent
know, yeah.
distance before you actually take damage. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's really interesting gameplay dynamic too. Like you get into a dungeon, it's or like basically it's like the darkness zone, or like it's a danger area where
yeah.
you're basically taking certain damage that you wouldn't normally take exploring. You know, which makes a lot of sense too.
I do like that.
Like,
It's to me it was refreshing for a Souls game. That it's a little it was bright,
yeah, no, and
at least in the world. In the
that's
world.
very true. Like Dark Souls is very, and even Bloodborne, it's a
Yeah.
very dark game.
Oh, Bloodborne is
And
super dark.
you know what? Sekiro does have moments where you're like in cherry blossoms and it's
Yeah.
like very, very pretty. But what they do a lot of is a lot of browns, a lot of grays, a lot of blacks.
Yeah.
And
Dark
then,
blues.
Yeah, and dark blues. And that's basically like the spectrum that you usually
Yeah.
see. So everything kind of like, it doesn't blend together, but like they have a very like distinguished look.
Yeah.
Like, or definitive look, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And from what I've seen of Elden Ring, it does get really dark when you get into like the catacombs and
Yeah.
caverns and stuff like that. Like, and then it feels like you're in that Souls-born like environment. But
Mhm.
out in the world, there's some moments where it's decently bright, and you're like, wow, this looks really pretty.
Yeah, and then for anybody, like we mentioned it before, it is something from George R. Martin, kind of just helping out with it, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to see if there's going to be more of a straightforward narrative in this one, as opposed to a Dark Souls where it's kind of like
I think it
it's
won't be.
where it's kind of like just they leave it open to interpretation.
Yeah.
And even with Bloodborne, there is kind of like there's lore to the world
Yeah.
and there's like things you pick up,
Yeah.
but it's not very like point
It's
A
not.
point
Yeah.
B.
It's so this one. I don't know if you noticed, but when you get into the let's just call it the bonfire.
Yeah.
It actually has a guiding light that can show you where to go if you want
Mhm.
to go like straight full like story.
Yeah, okay. So
but
like
then they
if you
can-
just want to cut out the BS and
Yeah.
just go straight.
Yeah, it'll show you which direction to go. And so but I do think it's gonna be similar in that it's a lot more subtle. I think what with George R. Martin, again, I'm not familiar with Game of Thrones, but I do know that it's very popular and he built the whole like medieval, dragon world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think what he's gonna like his collaboration is gonna involve a lot of more lore building. It's what I would assume. I'm sure narrative wise too, it's gonna be
Mhm.
more than before. And his involvement definitely will be in there. But
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see the storytelling too.
yeah,
'cause
yeah.
The thing
Most
about Dark
definitely.
Souls, like whenever you whenever you talk with anybody about Dark Souls, it's always kind of like you have the same story, but you have a kind of like a different way you interpret it,
Mhm.
and that's really interesting. And kind of like the darkness of the world as well. Like,
Yeah,
I'm really interested to see kind of like which route they take. You
Yeah.
know?
for sure.
Yeah,
I'm,
no,
I'm
it's
just
like
waiting on that premium collector's edition.
yeah. It's like we were mentioned. Like I asked my friend over here what was essentially going on with the premium collector's edition, because there's a collector's and there's a premium,
Yeah. hmm
and it sounds like the premium is the one that you want.
Yeah. Premium is the one that you want. They haven't showed anything off for the US yet, but if we're going off of any pricing with any collectors or even any standard games at all across the world, like it's always the same as the UK. It's instead of pounds, it's or euros. I think it's pounds actually.
Mhm.
It's US dollars. So like for instance, I believe collector's edition over in the UK was 189, and for the US it's also 189. So
Okay.
I believe the premium was 269. I think 260 or 259. I want to say it was 269
Mhm.
in the UK. So it's probably gonna be 270 for the US.
Okay,
That's
like
my
roughly
guess.
around there.
It just
Yeah.
hasn't dropped yet for the US because they're sunsetting their old website,
Hmm.
and that's gonna be until December 3rd. And so it's they haven't said anything about when, but it just most likely will be December 3rd. And in my case, I'm just gonna look out for it
Yeah, no,
just in
right.
case it comes up early or something. I don't want to miss out on it.
Going into the contents of it, it's like your standard collector's edition. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's
Yeah.
the steel book. You have an art book. You have the soundtrack.
A digital soundtrack.
The digital sound. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When do you ever get a physical soundtrack? Really, ever? You know?
No, you still do every
nowadays.
so often, but
Before, but it's getting
yeah.
rarer and rarer now.
It's actually, it seems to be like a mix now. It's either you get a physical soundtrack but a digital art book, or you might get a physical art book and a digital soundtrack.
You know,
and,
a complete different just like gripe I have is when they give you just the sampler.
yeah.
Like, okay, but that's a whole nother whole
Yeah,
nother
yeah.
thing, you know. But
in,
then yeah,
in this world now where you can grab like any kind of music you want to get like a CD sampler, it's just like okay.
yeah, right? Yeah, it's like yeah, damn. But then so that's and then what else do you get? That's basically
the
just
9-inch
collectors.
statue.
Oh, and then but the
Of-
the premium is the one that comes with the statue, right?
No.
Or they both do.
The collector's does.
Okay, nice.
Collector's and premium. The premium, the exclusive content to the premium edition is the 1/1 scale helmet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, wearable helmet.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
wearable helmet.
I
nice.
want it.
I want it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, speaking of the whole Soul series, I don't know if I'm sure you've heard of the debate. What you think about difficulty in terms of like the whole Soulsborne series, and like this there's always a huge argument every time a new game comes out, especially starting from like I think it was Dark Souls 3 and then Sekiro and Demon Souls remake, and now Elden Ring. That people are talking about, you know, making the game easier or adding an easy difficulty, which they refuse to do. Like they don't outright say anything to it, but every time they make a new game, there is no different difficulty setting.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
They want like an easy, medium, or a hard.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Or whatever they would call it, you know, kind
And
of like
it's like-
give me God of War.
And it's
You
like
know,
a huge argument online because journalists, you know, that oh yeah, we have a life, so we can't be playing this on these hard games because we got to write up this, you know, review and all that stuff. And then there are other people who sympathize that are just like, oh, you know, I have a life too, so I don't have all the time to play this one game and stuff like that. So this is a huge debate about whether they should add like an easy difficulty or an easier difficulty or like a difficulty slider.
So
Like-
if you ask me personally,
Yeah.
like if I want a difficulty slider in my Dark Souls or my Born series or whatever, maybe from FromSoftware, I'd say no, because I can really appreciate the fact that they want you to just play their game.
Yeah.
And get good at playing their game.
And
And then the thing about playing the game is you have to kind of, it's not necessarily like you have to be this master. You
Yeah.
just have to know what
Yeah.
works best for you.
Yeah.
And I know it was rough with Dark Souls, like the first one, even Demon Souls, like, you know, those games were very, like, just very rough, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like the give and take there, the balance, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of balances the game out is, to your point, in Dark Souls, it was very unforgiving.
Yeah.
But now it's unforgiving, but they're giving you different options
Yeah.
to where it feels like you have more playability.
Yeah.
Like, you want to just get from point A to point B, they'll provide you, like, that line. Or,
Yeah.
like, you know, not saying that the combat's easier, but they're giving you more abilities and they're giving you more things to work with.
Yeah.
So you're not just feeling just strapped with, like, you know, your abilities.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to be able to just be on easy mode and just OP, just destroy everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I feel like that kind of takes away from the experience, you know, at least for from everything they've produced, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Especially going from all of their games and all of a sudden just adding a difficulty slider. It's kind of like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like at that point, like, stick to your guns, stick to your culture, you know, like, from software, please don't add a difficulty slider.
Yeah.
And then the same thing I wanted to kind of bring it around to is even connects with Pokemon. Like, what I've noticed is, you know, back when Dark Souls came out, back when Demon Souls came out, you know,
Uh-huh.
we had technology, yeah, but we didn't have as many, like, things popping off as we do, like, nowadays, for
Yeah.
sure. What they were talking about with Pokemon, the connection is that they say the Pokemon games are easier nowadays, or not easier, but a little bit more kind of just laxed, because kids nowadays, their attention spans are very small.
Yeah.
It's like they have a tablet, they have TV, they have their computer, they have, you know, their DS or their Switch or whatever, you know, and they're as soon as they get bored with one, they're going to go to another one.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, oh, I have to read? Okay, I'm just going to have to go to this next one. So it's kind of like, I like it because it kind of tailors to certain kind of gamers, you know?
Yeah.
It's not a game that's supposed to be for everybody.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, like, if you're looking for more of a lacked experience, you're probably playing something else.
Yeah.
And that's not saying, hey, you know, get good,
Yeah.
kid. But it's kind of like, you should know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
It's
Yo,
like when
I-
someone says, like, no, it's going to be really spicy, and you're like, fucking, you know, like, I
Yeah,
don't even
yeah.
care, you know? It's like, you should know what you're walking into.
Yeah. I love your response. This is my exact thought on it. Like you just basically said everything that I've said and argued about it online.
Yeah,
And
it's like-
there's this one user who I forget his name. I can probably look it up in a bit. But I remember he
Yeah, call him out, call him out.
I don't mind calling him out. I just don't remember his
I know
name
what
because he made this whole argument like everyone has, but like he's a bigger person, more people know him. And like he has made this bigger argument, like no, there's no there's no excuse, there's no debate. They should have a difficulty slider,
No.
right?
Yeah.
And he's like, anyone who argues with it, I'm blocking you. And I'm just like, okay.
Well, that's
First
just
of all, yeah.
yeah.
First of all, like I understand if you've argued about something for so long, maybe you get harassed or something like that. But when you put an opinion or a statement out there and you said it's not up for debate, I'll block you. I'll just ignore or block you. Your credibility is down the crap. Like your statement
Exactly.
is nothing. Basically means nothing. You're allowed to have an opinion, sure, but
your
once
point
you
is
share
invalid.
it, once you share it, and like that's the point of sharing it, is that people will say something back, or people have the option to say something back. And so like if you're just gonna ignore it, that just means your opinion means nothing. That's just how it is. Everything is up for debate. In my opinion, if you share an opinion, it's up for debate. Even if everyone is against your opinion and it's like a terrible opinion, it's still up for debate.
Yeah.
Anyone who says or yeah, exactly, but in my case I was just like, no, that like the game's not for everybody. Why do you like why does this even need to cater to different people?
Yeah, right, exactly.
And what was I gonna say? So I understand accessibility for disabled, people who have a disability. I
Yeah,
understand that,
sure.
but not for people who like even to his point, he mentioned it. Well, like people who with disabilities have beaten a Soulsborne game.
Yeah. I saw a
And-
dude do it with the freaking Guitar Hero guitar.
Yeah.
Like
And it has nothing to do with getting good and all that stuff. It's just a type of genre. It's not for everybody.
yeah.
And guess what? The people with disability who've beaten it and enjoyed it, like why did they enjoy it? The same reason everyone else enjoyed it, because this game is not catered to people with disability. It's catered to people who enjoy this type of game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a genre. That's how it is. Like why does it need to cater to everybody? Why does everyone need to buy it? No one needs to buy it. Like we're in the world now where everyone has like 30 games in their backlog, probably on average. You know what I mean? Why does this need to cater to someone else to buy it?
And like I
It
said too,
doesn't
it's
matter.
like these games aren't and they're hard, they're challenging,
Yeah.
but they're not impossible.
Yeah, they're not.
And
It's-
like at the end of the day, it's like it's one of those things where you fought that boss like 50 times, and then once you finally just got the one up on them and found the way to beat them,
Yeah.
where it was just super easy, and you just find the trick, like you just get that just sense of like just fulfillment.
Yeah.
Like just you feel so good.
And
as
that
opposed to
point-
someone that you just smashed on.
Yeah.
Like
And to that point, there were some people who were arguing, again with the difficulty slider. They're like, well, I spent 10 hours on this boss and I did not feel that sense of satisfaction. Well, guess what? The game's not for you.
yeah, right. No, yeah,
You
exactly.
found out that the game is not for you. And again, it has nothing to do with get good, you weren't good, or anything like that. There are ways to beat bosses. Like he was talking about Sekiro.
Yeah, okay.
And this one. And it's like there are ways to beat bosses with using the tools that you have. And so if you got stuck on something and you were trying the same thing over and over, then probably wasn't to your advantage, because that's not how it works.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's like they didn't have adaptability to their playstyle.
Yeah.
They just kept bull rushing, or they
Yeah.
kept just doing the same thing over and over. Like,
Exactly. And like let's say that you did try to change things up and you still couldn't beat. Honestly, if you spent 10 hours on a boss and you were trying to switch things up, you were probably just doing all the wrong things. And for most of us who enjoy that genre, that's just the part of figuring it out.
Yeah, exactly.
If that frustrates you, then it's not for you. That's just how it is.
Yeah,
It's
games
just-
are supposed to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I personally had like it's weird to say it, but I had really a lot of fun just getting just destroyed in that game.
Yeah.
Because once you get destroyed and you get to the point where you can kind of just not rush through it, but you feel so confident going through it. It's
Yeah.
like, I know where you're at. I know how to beat you. I know how to beat you, and you're really exploring the world. You feel
Yeah.
like a badass.
Yeah.
You actually feel like
I love that with Bloodborne.
yeah, like you actually feel like your character where you're like, you know what, no one's messing with me right now, and then you finally get to the point where you're like, oh damn, this is hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like-
and we've all experienced frustrations playing the Soulsborne game, but again, the satisfaction when you beat a boss or like just get through a really tough area overshadows that frustration.
And the thing too, like I wanted to mention as well with FromSoftware, is they do such a good job with their bosses that the whole incentive for me to keep playing as well, on top of the good gameplay and like the challenge, is the fact that I want to see what the next boss is. Like a lot of the times, like I want to see, like I'm really curious. I'm like, this boss was badass. Like, what's the next boss going to be? And it's like something I wouldn't even think of, like, just a whole bunch of things. Even fighting like the lunar moth, like in Dark Souls, where I'm just like, this is a boss. But then it started just destroying me because I didn't realize it fires beams. But like kind of just seeing everything that they kind of the versatility that they have.
Yeah.
And even I encourage anybody to watch that gameplay that we watched before we recorded today. It's like a 19-20 minute. I'm sure there's another one that's out there as
15
well.
minutes. But then there's a few extra
Or commentary
stuff.
and stuff. Yeah.
No. Well, not so much commentary, but they showed off the trailer that they initially showed off at I forget which event. Which is it was funny because well, when I was listening to these people who were doing like reaction videos, they're like, "Oh, this is the trailer that they showed off," and I was just like, "I had no clue they showed off this trailer before."
Yeah,
to me, this trailer was still new,
brand new. Yeah.
But they showed off an old trailer after the gameplay demonstration, and then they showed off the collectors and premium collectors edition.
Oh, nice. There we go. Yeah,
so it's actually a 15-minute gameplay video.
Yeah, definitely go out there and check it out because you'll kind of get an idea of exactly what we're talking about. They showed They showed one of the bosses that was really badass. But another thing I wanted to also talk about, was the fact that they showed a dragon. And like not even just one dragon, but multiple dragons. But in the gameplay video, you get a sense of what the dragons like fights are going to look like in an open world situation.
Uh-huh.
And it was very, very reminiscent of Skyrim. Like for sure. Like I even mentioned it before, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's totally like a dragon from Skyrim right there. Maybe not 100% copy and pasted.
Yeah.
But they were heavily influenced. I wouldn't be surprised if they, like I said, they utilized some of the code or they utilized something from there.
I actually think I haven't played Sekiro. I plan to actually play Sekiro because it very much is reminiscent. I know it's inspired by Tenchu, and I love Tenchu.
Yeah.
Just again, we all have a crazy backlog.
Yeah,
I actually planned on playing not Tenchu, Sekiro. I think January. That's my plan right now.
Okay.
I
I heavily recommend Sekiro. Sekiro was badass. That was a great game.
I have the collectors. I love the Soulsborne series.
Yeah.
Especially Bloodborne is still my absolute favorite. But I believe that people mentioned that the whole, I think it was the dragon. I don't know if it was that dragon, but I think it was that dragon. They said the way it fights is exactly lifted from Sekiro.
Okay, I can see it.
And
especially if they've already, because
honestly, like it looks like a also based on what I've heard from network testers. Like these are just encounters you can have. Like this is like a semi mini boss on like a field boss.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they call it. I think they call it a field boss.
There we go.
Where it can just show up. So it's not the same as where it's like a boss. But even if it was copy pasted,
it's like a yellow bar.
Yeah.
Now,
exactly. Now it's a yellow bar.
Yeah. Now you just have the yellow bar, and you're like, oh snap.
But I actually found that person, Anno Riand GD.
Anno Riand GD, straight from the Closing Staff podcast.
Yeah.
Have an open mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop asking for sliders in your FromSoftware games.
So,
and if you need a difficulty slider, maybe you just need to choose a different game.
Choose a different game. So speaking of him, someone made a response. Streets of Gage, like that name.
I like it.
Yeah, we all know Streets of Rage. He made this response. Actually, let me take a look at it again, but you know what? I won't read the actual tweet. I remember what it was about. But what he said was, if if an artist made an art piece, right, but they didn't make it in your colors, are you gonna tell them to change the colors?
Exactly.
Right.
I was gonna bring up kind of that same point, but I'll let you continue. I'm sorry.
But and then his response to this was, no, but I'll place filters on it if I don't like the colors, which is what they do with patches. And I'm like, that's not the same analogy. That is not the same analogy. If you, when an artist, if they want to touch up their own painting because you didn't like the colors or something, to them that's probably an oversight. So they're like, okay, I'll patch it up because this is on me. But in the case of someone who's proud of their work, who is just like, I'm not adding a difficulty slider because this is how my games are. If you're saying that you're gonna apply a filter, that means you make the mod.
Yeah, right. No, exactly.
So if you want a difficulty slider, you want an easy mode, you mod it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Like I was gonna bring it up to the same point, like almost like an artist painting something, or someone writing a book.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're like, no, I didn't like how these chapters went, or
I
didn't
don't like how
direction.
Picasso does his art. Because I don't.
And it's kind of like,
it.
do you want me to rip the pages out, or do you want me to make the font bigger? Like, no, it's like it's your point. Like, I'm proud of what I put out, and I spent a lot of time and a lot of dedication on this product, and you don't think that the idea of a difficulty slider ever crossed our minds. Like you think that they're sitting in there like, oh, you know what? We never thought of that. Yeah, you know, like you really think From Software is not aware that this
Yeah.
is how their games are made.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like the point I made. It's like if I see From Software put a difficulty like setting into like let's say one of the new games
So,
like
if they did, I'm open to it, but because that's their choice.
yeah.
But if they don't want to, they don't want to, and everyone who's played the games who enjoy them for what they are. And
And I feel like if it was a peer like a not like a public pressure thing, like a fan pressure thing, and they're like, okay, fine, we'll do it, I'd be disappointed.
yeah, I would. I agree.
But if they came out and they're like, no, this is gonna be like something new from us, we have a new idea, new IP, maybe even like difficulty slider. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't trip. I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah.
Because you know what, like to the point, they're trying something new with their new project.
Now, this harkens back to another argument that's had, not from this person, Anna Rian or whatever. I don't know how
We-
to say
we
his
already
name.
forgot.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know his. I don't know how to.
It's okay.
Pronounce his name. But this is a argument that has been had before, where it's like, well, you should cater to customers because they buy your product, and that is, to me, that's kind of a. There's no real. That's kind of a dead end argument. The
Exactly.
reason why is you have fans because of your previous work. They like
Exactly.
what you do already. Those are the people who buy your stuff. You shouldn't be catering to everybody else to get a new audience. You know what I mean? Those people weren't really your fans in the first place.
Exactly.
The ones who bought your stuff are the ones that you should cater to. Now, it's fine. You want to branch out there to get more customers because that's how business works. But again, you shouldn't cater to people who weren't even fans of your work in the first place. They might have seen someone else play the game or
Yeah, exactly.
seen your art somewhere else. Oh, I like that, but they probably didn't follow your work. You know what I mean?
I like From Software just from the sake of, like I said, their games haven't gotten necessarily any easier.
Yeah.
But they just make their games better.
Yeah.
Like the games just keep getting better and better and better. And like, in not a sense of where it's just like they keep topping themselves, but they branch out. Like Sekiro is so different from Bloodborne.
Yeah.
And Bloodborne's so different from the Soul series, But they all have that same thread that kind of just runs between them.
And I need to go back and I need to finish Bloodborne. I know. I a lot of people are just like, how have you not finished Bloodborne considering how big of a quote unquote fan you are? Well, I'm like, well, the reason why, my fault. My very first playthrough, and still my first playthrough, no weapon upgrade.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah.
So
So if you guys don't know our man Trade Hold over here he's quite the beast when it comes to playthroughs, and if he can do it, he'll do it. If it's possible and the developers made it possible, he'll get it done.
So
Like,
I've done streams before where people will come in and there's like, you need to repair your weapon. I'm like, no, it's not upgraded. And they're like, oh, well, good luck with that, because they're just seeing me doing like 40 damage to like Margot's
Yeah.
wet nurse, and they're just like,
Trade Hold goes up with the box cutter and just starts like slashing at the giant dragon.
and it just so happens I stopped playing the game at the time was considered the hardest boss in the game, Ebrietas. And I stopped playing it because of it was either an event, maybe E3, or it was because I stopped because I was concentrating on making Christmas gifts. And so it's just like a terrible part to pick the game back up.
And like coming back around to what we mentioned earlier, you have that one save file that you just let sit for a little too long, and
Yeah.
you're like, do I want to go back to that, or do I just want to start another
Nah,
run?
I'm going back to it. I gotta
You're going
finish it. It's the end of the game. It's basically the end of the game.
Okay, there we
So
go.
I'm definitely gonna finish it from there. Like my plan is that when I play Sekiro again, possibly in January, maybe even mid-December. It depends, because I still need to finish Nier Replicant. That's on my
Okay.
to-do list. Everyone knows I'm a huge Nier fan. And then so gotta finish Nier Replicant. Then I want to do Shunyun Sword 7,
Okay.
a game that is the very first to release on console in the U.S. or outside of China, because it's a Taiwanese based, and it's a 7th game, but it's a standalone, and so kind of want to like get it out to the crowd too, for people who aren't familiar with this series.
Oh, no, of course, yeah.
And then I want to do Sekiro, and my plan with that is getting used to the difficulty of a Soulsborne game again, and then go back to Bloodborne, finish Bloodborne, and then I don't know if you've heard about this, the Bloodborne PS1 remake.
I did not know.
Oh,
They're like not remastering it, but like kind of
demaking it. Yeah,
demaking
it's
it
a
so that
fan-made
it.
project.
That's cool.
By someone. I think the handle is a Bolster
It's like when
or
they
Blaster. I
it
think it's
was
Bolster.
it was totally a parody, but they did a GTA Pokemon where it was like
Yeah,
GTA but in the
I've
style of
heard about
Pokemon.
that actually.
Yeah. But that sounds really cool, like a demake almost of
Yeah,
like for PS1.
yeah, yeah, and it's slated for. I think again. I think the handle name is Bolster. I think her real name is Laura. No, Lilith.
Hmm.
Lilith Walther, I think it was.
Yeah.
But it's out for they actually have she actually has a release date. They actually have a release date. I don't know pronouns stuff, but
Hmm.
for January 31st of 2022,
Okay.
which is perfect because if I can go back and play this, which I'm not, I actually have stopped doing no upgrade runs or no level up runs after
Hmm.
Yakuza 5. I'm like I don't have time for this anymore. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
again, if we're talking about time, play the game normal at least.
Yeah, right. No,
Because
what you
it's a significant more time
You know what?
when you're doing no upgrades.
People at work say that I'm brutal. They're like, "You got a platinum on that game?" Like, "Oh man, I can never do that." I'm just like, "But if only you knew." Like that's just skimming the surface. Imagine doing all that stuff, like to your point, trade hold, like where you're going through no upgrades, no boosts, no perks. Sometimes like,
Yeah, I'm still trying to platinum Bloodborne with no upgrade.
mhm.
So like I've even debated like if I go into the old Hunters DLC, do I start upgrading from there or?
Because that's what I was gonna ask you as well. Yeah, like once you make it through all this stuff, like I'm not too familiar with the DLC, but I hear the DLC was really good.
I've heard it's really good too.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that was the thing is like, are you gonna start upgrading for the DLC, or is it just like you're just gonna keep it clean just all the way through, like no
That's
upgrades?
I'm unsure of that because like any save file I have now where I didn't do upgrades, I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna beat it that way, but I'm not gonna do any more new games where it's no upgrade runs.
Mhm.
So like Sekiro will be upgrade. I will upgrade in that game. I will.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
And then what the thing about that game too is they make it really fun to upgrade.
yeah.
Like one last point I wanted to make was kind of just the one thing I'm kind of not disappointed in, but one thing that's always just been one of my pet peeves, let's say from Software, is their menu system, like their menus and like just their freaking perks and everything, like or the way their everything levels up
Mm-hmm.
and gains like stats and everything like that. I don't know why, it's just I don't like looking at it. Like
I
it's
it,
mind numbing for me, and it's kind of like that's
it
the one point I kind of just like it's just not fun leveling up. It doesn't feel like it's an interactive leveling system. It's
uh-huh.
just like, oh, I have more vitality plus 11. Like
I will have to say that it's very plain, but I'm sure it's meant to be.
yes, I'm saying like it's meant to be. It's just a pet peeve personally
Yeah.
of mine. Like it's no knock on them.
It's I agree
It's-
with you.
yeah.
And again, I love the Soulsborne games, but I agree with you that it's I don't know, I like it's something. It's to me, yeah, it's very plain.
I don't know why. Yeah, but like I've said before on previous episodes as well. Like if you listened, is if I have to nitpick at small stuff for a game, the game's good.
Yeah,
If I have to sit there and really be like, oh, the menu's not interactive, but everything else was good. It's just like, yeah, literally the game was great. Like I
Yeah.
really liked it.
yeah. What was I gonna? Oh yeah, so yeah. I have a few game saves where I didn't do upgrades. I'm gonna keep them that way, beat them that way. Like Bioshock, my Bioshock one on PlayStation 3.
Nice. There we go.
I'm at the very last boss on Survivor difficulty. I think it was called the
Okay.
hardest one.
Yeah.
With no Vita chambers, no health upgrade, no Eve upgrade, no plasmids,
Nothing. It's like
nothing.
nice.
And so I'm at the very last boss, and I knew how to beat it, but I didn't have a capture card, and I would try to set up a camera on the screen while I
yeah.
did it, but at the time, the PlayStation 3 was set out in the living room of where I lived, which everyone else has to,
Oh,
walk
okay. No, yeah.
through.
That was what for me at the time when the Wii was out, because same thing. I could never beat any of the games, and like that was all that was really out at the time because it was in the family room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in my case, even when I was playing at like 2 a.m.,
I feel that.
someone would walk by.
Oh no, yeah.
And
right.
unfortunately, because one of the reasons is one of the public bathrooms, it's right past, or the bathroom for everybody.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It's right past this TV screen. So
Yeah.
I never got to beat Bioshock that way. I still have to save, and I plan to go back and do it. It's
They're
just
walking by, and you're just
gotta,
like,
yeah, I just gotta set up the
Like-
capture card for that one. And then there's another game that I have a no upgrade run that I still need to beat. I can't think of what it is right now. But yeah, none of that from now on. So when I play the remake, I probably will actually do a legit, let's
Yeah.
upgrade, like to play the game that you should be playing it.
or like how my coworkers say it, just enjoy your game.
Yeah.
Like, stop trying to do this crazy challenge. Like, just beat the game
Well,
and then maybe
sometimes
go
it's-
back. And I'm like, but I don't know. But there's
Yeah.
just something about it.
There's
Yeah.
something, there's some like But when it comes to difficulty in games, that's part of the exhilaration. Like Bioshock, when I did the no upgrade run, it was just because I didn't know where to slot in my abilities or
Mm-hmm.
upgrades yet.
And all of a sudden, a
As,
Big Daddy pops out.
yes,
Yeah,
the Big
like,
Daddy bouncer, that first like real Big Daddy, the
yeah.
boss encounter, it was so
It just
exhilarating when I
bursts
was
through the wall, right? And it was like,
when it
yeah,
was like while I was battling it, it was so exhilarating. I was just like, oh my god, I'm loving this right now.
yeah.
And I had no upgrades, and I'm like, he's running so fast behind me. I'm like, dude. And yeah, after I beat him, but then after that, I was a little disappointed because like the next few big daddies that you encounter were like all rosies. So
Oh,
like
okay,
they're
no, yeah.
basically they shoot the guns.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, this is just like a bigger, more armored like leatherhead. I think that's what they were
Mm-hmm.
called, leatherheads.
So you can still take them out,
Splicers,
you know?
yeah. And it's like all long distance stuff, no real challenge or exhilaration. I'm just like, it's like there's like two big daddy bouncers I think in the game.
Hmm.
But anyways,
Yeah, right? It's like, anyways.
but yeah, anyway, that's the plan. D-Make, January 31st, and then Elden Ring, February 25th.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's a good release time. I like when games release like
Yeah.
February, March, because there's not a lot out. It's not a big time slot for like a lot of AAA games.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like it's a sweet spot, you know?
I
like,
actually think, from what I've heard, there actually are a decent amount of releases in the beginning of 2022.
oh, there we go.
There was another game that I think I actually pre-ordered, Horizon. The next Horizon one's actually in
yes.
February, the week before
What-
I think Elden Ring.
I was gonna mention that. I remember when Horizon, the first one, came out, and it was like around like February, March, and there was nothing really on the PS4 at
Yeah.
that time, and that game did so well because of that, and it was such a good game.
Yeah.
And shout out to Horizon. I know we have an episode out on that, but going through and getting the platinum and going through and completing all the DLC, like with number 2, I just keep telling everybody just take your time.
Yeah.
Like I
I-
want Guerrilla Games to just take their time.
I'm down
Like-
with another
Yeah,
just
like
dedicated episode to Horizon. I'm down with that.
yeah, because like
because there's a whole topic on that one with how
and the
they're
Forbidden
handling the-
West and like with the new freaking trailers that have come out,
Yeah.
the new gameplay that's come out and stuff.
And
Like
there's still the controversy too of the whole no disc thing
Mhm.
with the I want to call it the Regalia edition. I know it's not called that.
Yeah.
The Regalia is just a vehicle from Final Fantasy 15. It's named after what looks like a mammoth type enemy.
okay.
It starts with an R. I just can't remember the name, but that's the edition that I pre-ordered, the $260 one, I think.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go.
But then it doesn't include a disc, and a lot of people are pissed off about that.
Well, no steelbook, so it's just like
No,
just
no,
digital.
This
Oh,
is steelbook, I think, but no
just for
disc.
collectors, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you get PS4 and PS5 entitlement, if I remember right.
With me, I'm a very much a physical copy guy. Like I love my physical
Yeah.
copies, but I feel like if you're still providing me a steelbook, like I'm okay not getting a disc.
See, I am.
Like
Everyone knows I'm a physical.
yeah, and
collector.
I was about to say that's a bold statement from even myself because
Yeah.
I love the disc. There's
Yeah.
something about the disc,
Yeah.
like I want the disc. But if I'm like to your point, if I'm or not to your point, but what you're saying, you get so much content in this collector's edition. If I'm not getting the disc, but I'm still getting the steelbook, like I'm fine with that, you know?
Yeah. So I mean, my argument again of all three of us, my collection.
Oh, and of course,
I have
yeah.
a huge physical collection by most people's like admission or even like observation. Everyone would say I have a huge physical collection. I'm a
Yeah.
big physical collector. I understand why they wouldn't have a disc because PS4, PS5, you're gonna have to have the same collectors that either has a pack-in disc of PS4 or a pack-in disc of PS5. It's a hassle.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to just give a digital copy. Now, I will eventually get a physical copy when it goes on sale.
It's like I was about to say,
that's fine.
it sucks that you have to buy like
but-
another or spend extra just for the disc.
Yeah.
But I've been in situations, at least with my store, like where
Yeah.
a game goes on clearance, not clearance, but just goes on a fat sale. I'll
Yeah.
get it. I'll pick it up pre-owned, and I'll wait for that copy that comes through that I could tell no one played.
Yeah.
Like that copy that it's just still mint. Like
Yeah.
it only went into the console maybe once or twice, and then
Yeah.
they took it out.
Like
I wouldn't pick up like any kind of like used disc, but
Yeah.
like I'd find the one that's like nice and crispy still. you
yeah,
know?
yeah, exactly. Mine now obviously has to have like the box art and everything in great condition.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But these games will eventually go on sale.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you really want a physical copy, just wait to pick it up later. It's
Yeah, it
going
sucks. You have to spend a little extra, but it's like this. It feels like this is kind of the direction they're going in.
Yeah.
Especially with the idea that they did the disc and the discless, like the digital PS5.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm not a fan of
like-
digital, and for the same reason no one else is.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't a fan of digital in the sense that you're not the technical owner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because they can just pull that right off, like pull your license to the ownership or whatever
Hmm.
right away from you. I understand that, you know.
Yeah, no, I get
But
that.
again,
It's funny going back to even one of our previous episodes of how Xbox just got smashed on
yeah,
and just annihilated for trying to push this trend just a little too soon.
yeah,
And the fact that PlayStation themselves just smashed on Xbox as well, and even Nintendo, but Nintendo's
yeah,
been it's a whole different beast besides the point.
yeah.
But just seeing PlayStation now trying to adopt that same kind of like mentality, maybe not a whole front with all their
Yeah,
games, but like just kind of
like
little
almost
little by little. I think they're just kind of spoon feeding it to us to see how it goes.
honestly, everyone is there is like I think we've talked about before where there's a such thing as a too early,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
like when Xbox first announced that, I understood. Like I'm like I get it, I understand why you're doing it,
Yeah,
but this
exactly.
is too early.
Hmm.
Like PS3 did the same mistake, in that they made their interface home entertainment system, and at the time no one wanted that, and now PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS5,
Hmm.
they're all that way now. Again, it was just too soon. Before we get too far in, was there
Hmm.
something else you want to talk about? There's plenty to talk about.
There's plenty to talk about. I was thinking it was about time to start wrapping it up.
Okay.
If anything, yeah. Because I
Okay.
know we got through a lot of good points with Pokemon. We were able to connect Pokemon to Elden Ring somehow, which was really cool. I really like that. And then like even with just From Software, I feel like we made some a lot of good points with like Sekiro, Bloodborne, the Soul series, Elden Ring. Like I said, shout out to Elden Ring, shout out to From Software. You guys are putting out some good content, and
For sure.
like I thank you to as well, Trade Hold, showing me that gameplay. Like might just get the game myself.
Yeah.
And even then too, you got me enticed on that premium in case it pops up.
I don't.
Like
I don't remember if I mentioned it. How? No, I think I did. Right. How? Cash Wrap is the big George R. R.
yeah,
Martin
exactly.
one,
Cash
and
Wrap's
like
the guy. Yeah,
none of my friends, like people all over the internet, are talking about Elden Ring, and that's great. But none of my friends are. Like
yeah,
even
right.
the ones who were excited when they first announced Elden Ring, who did not watch the gameplay trailer,
Hmm.
and so I have no one to talk to now that I'm excited about it.
Oh no, don't worry. No, I'm gonna be on it as well. So hopefully we'll be able to play it at the same time or roughly
Yeah.
around the same time and have
It's
kind of like a book club, but it's like a game
I
club.
very
Yeah, like
rarely care to play a game on release. Elden Ring is one of the one games I actually want to play on release now.
yeah. No, I
So
feel you. I've kind of it's a whole different episode myself, but there's something different between playing a game on release and just letting it sit for a little bit. Yeah, like
one we need to talk about in the future. Some of the God of War stuff getting onto PC. And
ooh yeah, no, some of the
that
exclusives starting to.
that became a hot point on the internet, and oh my God, the GTA remaster. I don't know if
Oh
you heard
yeah, no,
about
yeah,
that.
we need to get into that as well. But that being
That
said,
would be another time.
yeah, that being said, we're gonna go ahead and close the gate at the shop. It's kind of like when you have your regular in, you realize it's already time to close, and you're like, oh man, like you don't.
You know what,
You,
I would say more that it's one of those times where we have to clock out because otherwise we'll get in trouble.
yeah, right. Yeah. Clock out at the time, but still stay an hour after just to make sure
Yeah.
things get done. Because if you get paid for working extra, you'll get in trouble.
Yep.
But if you leave the store in the condition that it is because you had no time to do anything, you'll still get in trouble.
Yep.
So
There's no win
there's
situation.
there's a no-win situation besides work for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that being said, no, yeah, we're just gonna go ahead, drop the gate, close it up, and lock the door. It's been a fun episode.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and send it over to my man Trade Hold. Anything to add?
No, nothing at all. Thank you for listening to us. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you contribute to a conversation
Mm-hmm.
in the sense, maybe in the comments or something.
Yeah,
Send
right.
us a
And,
message.
yeah, definitely go over to definitely all the listening platforms. We're on everything. Show us some love, give us a rating, and we really appreciate all the feedback. But that being said, we're gonna go ahead and close up shop.
All right.